Hi, I'm Pete Barrett, the Public Relations Director for the Airline History Museum at Kansas City. This big beauty behind me is a Lockheed Constellation, otherwise known as a Connie. It's one of the most significant airplanes in the development of commercial air transport in this country. The Airline History Museum at Kansas City operates this airplane out of downtown airport here in Kansas City. This all-volunteer organization is dedicated to preserving the history of propeller-driven aviation here in this country. They operate this airplane along with a Martin 404 and a DC-3 out of downtown airport, together with a museum dedicated to commercial propeller-driven aviation. The TV program you're about to see is about how a group of very dedicated enthusiasts saved this airplane from a desert down in Arizona. During the show, you're going to see an 800 number across the bottom of the screen and a website address for our organization, inviting you to join. So sit back and relax and enjoy the rebirth of the Star of America.
Save a Connie Incorporated was organized in 1986 for the purpose of preserving early propeller-driven commercial aircraft and to exhibit such aircraft at air shows in the USA and around the world. It is an entirely volunteer organization. Membership consists of retired aviation specialists, including mechanics, technicians, and flight crews, and other volunteers who offer their knowledge, talent, and time to such a rewarding organization. Star of America was manufactured by Lockheed Aircraft Company, Burbank, California, in 1959 for Slick Airways. The aircraft was used primarily to haul cargo for Slick and later to haul supplies to Vietnam. It was then converted into a bug sprayer aircraft and finally retired at Falcon Field in Mesa, Arizona, where it remained for 11 years. Near the base of Red Mountain at Falcon Field, Mesa, Arizona, situated among many early antique military and commercial aircraft, a Super Constellation remained waiting to be rescued. For the last 11 years, the aircraft collected dust, was home for a variety of birds, and a paradise for vandals. The possibility of being melted down and reshaped into aluminum cans was slowly approaching. In Kansas City, Missouri, however, a group of aviation enthusiasts had formed an organization, Save a Connie Incorporated, for the purpose of preserving early propeller-driven commercial aircraft. After hearing about Super Constellation, several members of Save a Connie journeyed to Mesa to inspect the aircraft for possible restoration, and their conclusion was positive. A contract for the owner for purchase or possible donation was drawn up, and in May 1986, a small group of Save a Connie members and other volunteers arrived at Falcon Field to begin the task of preparing Connie for the ferry flight to her new home in Kansas City. On December 20th, 1986, the former owner officially donated the aircraft 37 Charlie to Save a Connie.
Well, it sure looks like we're underway.
The cockpit was a mass of tangled wires and broken instruments. And the cabin of the aircraft was deteriorated, filled with old aircraft parts and a lot of just plain junk. first in the restoration process was changing the nose gear tire.
Been sitting for a while, huh, fellas?
10 years and a revolting development. We thought it was a split rim, and how do we get the tire off?
Engine work was also started. The propeller domes were removed, then cleaned and inspected before being reinstalled on the aircraft. "37 Charlie" was towed to a hard stand where the extensive work was done. It took a tug and a tow truck to move the aircraft from its resting place.
Having a little bit of trouble. But there she goes. She's moving. Hey, Red, that's a pretty sophisticated tool you have there, isn't it?
Right,
That's the garden type variety, isn't it?
right.
Yeah, we're rebuilding these chiction fittings. Brake chiction fittings.
Dedicated Sabacani workers spent endless hours in the Arizona sun cleaning, repairing, or replacing parts and checking all operational components of the aircraft in preparation for the flight to Kansas City. After completing engine checks, it was time to see if they could be started. Number 3 engine surprised the fire guard when a backfire occurred in the master control. It is not unusual to see smoke and fire as the engines are started. Necessary corrections were made, and on July 15, 1986, after 9 weeks and over 3,000 hours of hard work, the first crew to fly Connie in more than a decade fired her up and ascended from the desert. 5 hours later, after a routine flight, the Super Connie touched down in Kansas City to the cheers of a very enthusiastic crowd. They say an airplane doesn't have a soul, but I think this one does, because it knew it was getting away from the junkyard. The further it got away, the better it flew. That was the comment of one Save a Connie member that day. Cheers continued as the flight crew stepped out of the aircraft. Spontaneously, Save a Connie members and friends joined hands to form a circle around this very special product of aviation history.
The tape you're watching was shot and produced back in 1987. Since then, we have changed our name from Save a Connie to the Airline History Museum at Kansas City. Along the way, we picked up a Martin 404 and a DC-3 to add to our museum. We'd like to invite you to join the organization by calling 1-800-513-9484 between 10 and 3 Monday through Friday, or check us out on the web at www.airlinehistorymuseum.com. Let's now return to the rebirth of the Star of America.
Only limited work could be done on the Connie until March 15, 1987, when a hangar was obtained at the north end of the Kansas City downtown airport. Number 2 engine was removed and later replaced. The aircraft was moved into the hangar. The only available hangar was not quite large enough, so the wingtips had to be removed before backing the aircraft into the hangar. Extensive restoration began and would continue for the next 15 months. Save a Connie experts literally rebuilt the aircraft. The original engines were replaced with military Wright R-3350-93 turbo compounds. Wing panels and stabilizers were removed and inspected. Hydraulic systems were thoroughly checked, as was the landing gear. Various parts were obtained from a second Super Connie that was being scrapped in Tucson, Arizona, and a third Connie located in Sebring, Florida. Number 4 engine, without propeller or accessories, was installed. This base engine weighs approximately 3,515 pounds. Save a Connie mechanics hung the engine with a commercial hoist and manpower. The cockpit instruments were either repaired or replaced, and the entire cockpit was repainted and reupholstered. New avionics were also installed, but the original look was left undisturbed.
you can go over.
The cargo-type cabin was gutted and rebuilt to a passenger configuration type. Sections of flooring had to be changed. Old insulation was replaced and new fiberglass sidewalls installed. Sabicani mechanics and other volunteers installed the completely overhauled propeller on engine number 4. The propeller blades were covered for protection while further restoration was being done. A block and tackle method was used to raise the propeller into position on the engine. The aircraft was scraped, scrubbed, and prepared for its new silver, red, and white paint scheme. After several coats of primer and paint, and then the application of the Sabicani logo and trim, Connie was ready for formal dedication on July 9th, 1988. tip tanks, which each carried over 600 gallons of fuel for long flights, were installed, and Connie was towed to the terminal area for her special day. The galleys were scrubbed and put in place in the plane for dedication, but were removed again so that work could continue in the cabin. Star of America was formally dedicated in an impressive ceremony before thousands of people held in front of the Kansas City downtown airport terminal where many of these beautiful airliners had stood. Former Mercury 7 astronaut Scott Carpenter was the guest speaker. Supporting the nostalgic event were an Air Force Reserve Color Guard and an American Legion band. After dedication, work continued on the aircraft, and on December 3rd, 1988, the engines were started for the first time after restoration. Engine checks were made, and Connie was once again towed to the terminal area. Fire equipment and crew stood by if needed. As sunset was approaching, number 3 engine was started. To prevent engine damage when engines have not run in a while, one spark plug is removed from each of the lower cylinders on each engine. Because of this procedure, engine popping and flashing will be noticed, as is evident in engine number 1. On July 17, 1989, Connie was flown for the first time since her arrival in Kansas City to the Trans World Airlines overhaul base where necessary work was done.
Connie has changed its name to the Airline History Museum at Kansas City. And while our name has changed, our dedication to preserving the rich history of commercial aviation has not. Our new facility at Downtown Airport houses our airplanes, a museum, and the local chapter of the Civil Air Patrol. So smaller, large, old or new, you can come down and see the rich history of commercial aviation preserved for everyone. We also invite you to join the organization by calling 1-800-513-9484 between 10 and 3, or check us out on the web at www.airlinehistorymuseum.com. As we close, we're going to give you an opportunity to see what it's like to fly in the cockpit of a Lockheed Constellation. As you're watching, remember you're seeing living history, a history we're dedicated to preserving.
Okay, gear lever and lights.
Gun check.
Parking brake.
Park.
Brake pressure.
Check.
And landing lights.
Tracting off.
Ignition.
Off.
Radios.
On and check.
Nav lights.
Nav lights are on.
Okay, emergency oxygen.
Check.
Pitot and mass heaters are checking off over here. And hand pump selector. Brake.
Right. Okay. And brakes.
Okay. And altimeters and clocks.
2980 setting cross checks.
Okay, static selector.
Both normal.
And radar.
Is off.
Now we put it on standby again.
Okay, your gyro says we get on the bus.
And radar or rudder and aileron boost.
Checked and on.
And autopilot.
Checked and off.
Seatbelt no smoking.
1851. Check this real quick. What was the last item?
Okay, seatbelt no smoking.
It's on.
Aux boost.
Checked and off.
Elevator shift.
Shift on boost.
Okay, that's before starting checklist. You ready, John?
Yes, sir.
I want to stand by there. Okay, inverters.
Check.
Fuel quantity.
2,000 gallons for takeoff.
Hydraulic and engine oil quantity.
Check.
Fuel valve.
All forward.
Fire warning.
Check.
Chem compressors.
Dumped.
Gear pins.
Removed.
Circuit breakers.
Check power flaps off.
Firewall shutoffs.
Notch 1.
Fuel dump valves.
They're closed.
Crossover valve hydraulic.
Open.
Generators.
Off.
Battery selector.
Ground power.
Alternate fuel source.
Normal.
Crossfeed valves.
Closed.
Carburetor air.
Ram and cold.
Spark control.
Retired.
Pops.
Full increase.
Oil cooler flaps.
Open.
Engine blowers.
Low.
Mixtures.
Off.
260 panel.
Checked and set.
8-tank dump selector.
Neutral.
Oxygen.
On and check.
Okay, before starting engine,
I'm ready.
checklist is complete. Okay, batteries off. Radio's off.
Radio's off. Clear 3. Clear 3.
Beacon on.
Beacon's on.
Okay.
Turning 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Contact 3. 3. Clear 4. Clear 4. That's your crossover. Crossover's checked. Open. Turning 4. Close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Contact 4. 8. Clear 2. Clear 2. Turning 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Contact 2. Clear 1 or 4? 1. Clear 1. Turning 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Contact 1. 1.
thought a flame was coming out of number one. Did it go out by itself or you shut it off?
went out.
Huh?
It went out. I didn't cut the bell.
What's it look like? Bill said it's okay. As you were then. Ground power's coming off. You want to...
Yeah.
Yeah, you still need a little RPM on that number 4 when it's come to a secondary light there.
Yeah.
That'll come up.
That was usually kind of a little slow.
Yeah, I know. You want to give me... Read the checklist before you come start checking. Start checking. Give me the radios again when you get a chance.
Radio, John.
Brake and hydraulic system, brake. Beacon lights. On. Radios. On a check. Transponder. Stand by. Stand by. You'll read crossover. Okay, crossover valve hydraulic. Normal. Go light. Out. Generators. On. Battery selector.
Chip battery.
Cowl valve circuit breaker.
On and
synchronization. Fuel pumps.
Off.
Forward cabin door.
Check.
Okay. After starting engines, checklist is
Okay.
complete.
You on number 2?
Number 2. Give a call. Down. Constellation 6937 Charlie. Well, I might change it over. Down. 6937 Charlie. Roger, we're ready to taxi, and we'd like 2-1 if you could prove that.
Ask him where he wants us to review the run-up.
Fix that. And pretty soon Charlie's gonna need some area handsets time to run out, so I don't know where that's gonna work out to. 37 Charlie is going to need an area and some time for the run up, and I don't know where we can park to work out the best for a runway for run.
I think so.
I believe we can do that, 37 Charlie. Okay. 37 Charlie, cleared across 2-1.
That was me.
Okay. Spare tires have been sitting. John will have a pretty good crosswind on this run up.
Okay.
Tell him not to run somebody behind us, we'll blow him off the road.
You got him, John.
I got him.
You got anything coming up on checklist there before he starts?
Okay, flood position and shut off.
That's good.
Yeah. And that's it. 4 run-up clutch gates. And trim tab. Set. Radar. Standby. Alternator.
Lights check.
Okay, I can't check this one until we get up a higher RPM. Horizons?
Correct.
Okay, and these, V2 and V1 by 408. Okay. Generators done.
Check.
AC power.
Check.
Engine run up.
Stand by.
The radar gyro.
Uncaged.
And emergency lights.
They're armed. Check one plate.
Left, go, right, go.
All plates.
Left, go, right, go.
I got throttle coming off the step. Go ahead, folks.
Okay, aux boost.
Well, we'll wait till we get up.
Okay, transponder.
Get that section out.
Okay, okay. Flap position and shut off.
Check.
Wing flaps.
60.
Flaps.
Full increase.
Fuel pumps.
On high.
Oil cooler flaps.
50%.
Cap fans and heaters.
On.
Aux boost. Well, we get that.
We'll get
Okay.
clear. Go ahead and tell them we're ready to go.
All right. Rain. Constellation 37 Charlie.
See any landing traffic. That was number one a while ago on that warning, wasn't it?
One engine, zone one, yeah.
Next break, that
And-
was flame.
I'll be darned.
That,
It started up nice, and I
yeah,
didn't.
it was just a bad airflow problem.
Yeah, I pulled the cover off, Joe, so I didn't forget. When I put the cover on, that's when I rang the bell again.
Okay.
Mr. Davis says that's how you remember.
Yeah. We'll take off, check.
Okay, aux boost.
It is on.
Transponder is on. And flight controls.
The ailerons are checked. And rudders are checked.
Carburetor air.
Ram and go.
Mixtures.
Rich.
Cowl flaps.
On a roll.
Oil cooler flaps.
Set.
Here we go, John.
It's been fixed.
power. Ditto. Lots up. Lots up. We got the hand. Talking about got the off loose off there. Stop. Line power. Line power. That's takeoff checklist, folks. Arch boost is off. Seatbelt nose smoking. Check. Landing and nose light. Off. Gear lever. Neutral. Fuel pump. Off. After takeoff is complete. Far enough out here, I can line up with that thing. I had it all figured out for taking off on 3. Tell him when I can make a right turn now, fly down the east side of the field. Give me about 2100 on the prop, I got the drop. 2100. Approved as requested. I told him we just wanted to pass out each the airport. Should have gone out a little further. Is this between Burlington and the river? Yeah, real close to the railroad track. Okay. Which way are you going past downtown? I'm going parallel with the radar tracks, then make a left turn. They're supposed to have a tent up in the parking lot, if you can see a tent. Just straight ahead there. See a little white tower on your side? Where all the cars are parked? Right over the nose. Oh yeah, I see it. See all the people out there? Yeah. They're right underneath us now. Okay. Then we're gonna do it. That circle, do that again. Talking to us. I know. Yeah, 37 Charlie. We'd like to turn downwind, northbound, and then come back to the next thing. After this next one falls, okay, we'll come out and do an 82 down and come in the other way. This time I'm going to try to get on the west side of these people and get kind of like a photo flyby there. So I'll be out over the track. Except cruise manifold pressure for whatever we put 2100. Okay.
After this one, you want to make a 90-270 to come back over them, or to go make an approach?
I'll be a little to the west so they can get pictures and so forth.
So I mean, after this one, you're going to come back around for an approach?
I'm going to go out here and take a pass. Give them a couple of those, and we'll go in and land. If I can find my spot again here. It should be off to the left.
Well, here it is again. There's
Right down there, right?
yeah. Where all the people are standing out in the lot.
Where was the sundowner?
5 miles east of 2,700 feet. He's no factor. He approved as we requested the 9270 northbound.
Still figuring I'm going to have a tailwind going back that way. What was the off time, John?
05.
Clear right, John.
We're on your right. Come in at 19 or 21? He said 19's open. It was closed before.
Whichever. Yes, we use 21, I'll give them another 30 coming in. Give them their money's worth.
I'll tell them we're going to head up north and make a right turn
We'll
around.
make another pass after this one, and then we'll turn around and come back and land. From this side.
Well, it's just there where that big deal is sticking up.
A big white tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to see us because they're right here.
Yeah, right up front.
All
Right
right,
down there.
yeah. There's the tent is in between those two buildings.
Okay. We'll go back to one more, then we'll set up for land.
Okay, you just want to make a 360?
How's it working out, gang?
out this way, land. He says, do anything you want to do, just let him know which way we want to land at.
Preliminary checklist. I got problems.
You got him. Landing preliminary. Seatbelt no smoking.
That's on.
Brake and hydraulic system.
Check.
Okay, autopilot. Parking brake. Altimeters. Still 80.
2980.
That's cross check. Gear lever or gear light.
Check.
And boundary speed. 104. 104. Okay.
60 flaps.
Cabin altitude. Check. Fuel valve. All forward. Engine blowers. Low. Spark control. Retard. Reverse circuit breaker. Check. Alternate fuel source.
All right.
Clear on the right. And cross-feed slide valve. Load. Cowl flaps. Cowl and oil cooler flaps. As required. Preliminary is 40%. You want 2-1 show?
Yeah, we'll take it.
Okay, you got it.
What did he say the wind was? 230 and something.
Yeah, 240 and 14.
Landing gear. $2,400 on the front.
2,400.
Let me go ahead with that.
Landing gear.
Down 3 green.
Radar. Box boost.
Standby. If you put it in standby.
Standby. Okay, ox boost. No smoking sign. Flaps.
Target 6. I'm going to cheat on those lashes a little, so don't worry about that. Flaps. 80 flaps. Oh,
Say again, what?
didn't read it to me.
Okay, mixture, red, props. 2,400, fuel pump, on high. Carburetor air position. Have a cold. Cabin fans and heater. They're off. Final checklist complete. 240 and 12.
Okay.
Now there's the tent there, and there's another tent over here. So I'm not sure which one it is. It must be this one. We're coming right over the top of them. This is it
That's the
right
one
here.
there. Give me all the flaps, Bo.
You got them all.
Left turn.
Oh, I'd like to make a left turn back and go back to, we're just going to shut down a couple inches in front of the hangar next to our operation.
Did you say the one? We'll just make a left turn.
We'll make a left turn on Alpha Bravo. Right, that's 19 down the other side.
You say say cleared to cross?
We're cleared to cross.
Flaps up.
And round on the other side.
Off split.
We hope you've enjoyed this look back at aviation history. We invite you to join the Airline History Museum at Kansas City by calling 1-800-513-9484 between 10 and 3, or look us up on the web at www.airlinehistorymuseum.com. Membership does have its privileges. How else are you going to get to ride in something like that?
'80s model with 4 doors, gold wire spoke wheels, and yellow stripes on the tires. If you have any information whatsoever, please call the TIPS hotline, 816-474-TIPS.
Witches, druids, pagans, faiths the Christian world rejects. But what if we told you all of these faiths have something in common? The quest for inner peace.
And so we have a large community in Kansas City that's looking for alternative religion.
A nature-based spiritual path.
And that connection with the divine.
What's happened is that we've been given permission to explore.
Exploring our hearts for answers.
I pray that this evening is a time of wonderful dedication.
Christian